Right now, episode 18, digital twins. We're gonna go right into the video. 3-minute video. We're gonna
imagine a world where we can predict the future. We could avoid problems before they even happen. Now imagine this power applied to buildings, cars, even our own bodies. This is the promise of digital twins. They are like crystal balls, offering a peek into what might be. This is not science fiction. Digital twins are already here. They are transforming how we design, build, and care for the world around us. From smart cities to personalized medicine, the possibilities are endless. So, what exactly is a digital twin? Imagine a bridge. Now picture a perfect digital replica of that bridge. This replica is its digital twin. It uses sensors to collect real-time data. This data is then used to monitor the bridge's health, predict potential problems, and even test different scenarios. But digital twins are more than just static copies. They evolve and learn from the real world. As the physical bridge ages, so does its digital twin. This constant feedback loop makes the digital twin a powerful tool for innovation and problem solving.
Let's explore how digital twins are revolutionizing various fields. In the automotive industry, digital twins are used to design safer, more efficient cars. Imagine crashing a car thousands of times, virtually. This is now possible with digital twins, saving time, money, and lives.
In smart cities, digital twins can optimize traffic flow, predict power outages, and manage resources more efficiently. Imagine a city that adapts to your needs in real time. This is the potential of digital twins in urban environments.
In healthcare, digital twins are being used to create personalized treatment plans. Imagine a digital replica of your own body, helping doctors diagnose diseases earlier and tailor treatments to your specific needs. This is the future of personalized medicine.
Section 4. Navigating the ethical landscape. While the potential of digital twins is immense, it's crucial to address the ethical considerations. Data security is paramount, as digital twins collect vast amounts of data. Ensuring privacy and security is crucial. Another concern is bias. Digital twins are only as good as the data they are trained on. We must ensure these systems are fair, unbiased, and accessible to all. These are not just technical challenges, but societal ones.
Section 5. Shaping tomorrow together. The future with digital twins is bright. Imagine a world where we can prevent accidents, optimize resources, and personalize healthcare. This is not just about technology. It's about using technology to create a better future for everyone. As we venture into this new frontier, open dialogue and collaboration are crucial. We must engage in thoughtful discussions about the ethical implications of digital twins. This technology has the power to reshape our world. Let's ensure we use it wisely, responsibly, and for the benefit of all humankind.
All right, there we go. Digital
Hello, everyone,
twins.
and welcome to today's presentation.
Get out of this now.
Who made that video?
Everything that you guys see that video is sponsored by the stream. We make it all over here. We put a lot of hours into the stream.
So does that video have a digital twin?
That's
You
a
know,
good
something
one.
that can make it better?
I understand I understand, guys, but I don't have time to make those kind of videos better. Those are kind of to open up the show, and we publish those separately so we can get, they help with the channel. They're different types of videos, more informative. But digital twins right now, we're gonna, last week we did predictive analytics, and when I was listening to the playback, I realized that when we're talking about certain topics, it's kind of harder if you're not I don't want to sit here and bullshit people making it like I'm an expert on every topic. So what we're gonna do this week is we're gonna dive into the digital twins concept, but we're gonna do it more like a business approach of how can we implement this in business and not just explain the technology like a technologist or something, just kind of more of how do we apply this digital twin concept inside of a business, and for this week we're gonna attack real estate. How can we use digital twins in the real estate market? We're gonna answer a lot of different questions about the concept in real estate, as well as give different ideas. If you're a young person looking for a startup and looking for an idea to do, we might give you some ideas right now. We have our everybody on the panel right now is real estate focused. So they're not going to be so diverse in digital twins, but they just need to know the real estate aspect of what we're talking about.
I think this would be phenomenal for HOAs, in bigger buildings. You have to budget and allocate money for rainy days.
So right now we got Animal right now talking about the HOA with digital twins.
No, I was saying I think that because right now I live in a new building and we have to get our reserves up, but we don't know what's going to happen or where issues are. We already need a new valve that mixes the hot water, because when too many people use it, our hot water goes below the threshold. So like something like this would have told us that from the beginning.
Digital twins is basically just running use cases and potential events over and over and over to gather data to learn, right?
Yeah,
the whole idea.
It uses predictive analytics to kind of understand over time what's going to be troubling with the building. Whether that's like how many people enter that building, is it going to cause like the hinge of the door to start like causing a problem. It'll tell you, hey, there's been 1,000 people who've came into this building. At 1,010 to 1,020, the door might fly off. That's just that's the kind of the goal of
I think better use cases is like what's happening in Florida, right? The structural stuff, and then even plumbing and sewage lines when you run into issues, especially aging buildings. A lot of people in Florida right now, right? Those buildings that were collapsing, they have to pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars on their $400,000 condo, and people are, losing their ass off on their investment because of things that this could have prevented.
Yeah, so
that's true.
If all the sensors are monitoring your flows, you can identify leaks within the building, right? There's a leak on floor 2 you didn't know was leaking. It could be small. It could making the building inefficient or wasting water from the main.
Right. So
I don't know how it track electrical, but I guess
in this case, like we're saying, a digital twin is a virtual replica of an asset. And in this case, we're going to be talking about real estate, so homes, apartments, different kind of buildings. That's the asset we're gonna be diving into in the digital twin of that asset.
So it's a replication of the hard asset. You can't like replicate a process.
It's the replication to like the twin words. It's identical. So what it is you have to put sensors in the entire building, and those sensors will be connected to software.
I understand. Yeah, like a new construction, you'd put sensors everywhere. Foundation, plumbing,
Yeah, we're talking
electrical,
in the flooring, in the doors,
at the beginning,
in the ceilings.
I mean, the doors aren't necessarily. Yeah, it'd be hard. Like you could put like materials that you use to do the construction, I guess, because different kind of hinges, different kind of whatever.
Well, it's gonna know if somebody opens the door.
Data for this.
Go ahead.
Like
the concept is the digital twin. It's an identical copy of the blueprint of the building. It'll know the materials. It'll know everything that's inside of it, and there's sensors applied with everything.
So let me ask you this: so from a digital twin perspective, when you build a building, could you store all the data for all of the materials used, like the exact color schemes, the tile, like the roofing, the windows, and have all that data stored?
I'm sure that's involved in the software you use to track it. I'm sure that they do that.
Assume yes.
Yeah, because that would be helpful just from a maintenance perspective.
Yeah, it's more like a spreadsheet.
Right.
but what's called? No, I get it. And if they could incorporate that, and then like we use 10,000 bricks. We use 10,000 bricks of this code, this material, this kind of mortar, this kind of concrete, these kind of blocks, this kind of shingles.
Right. Like I think, we're talking about like larger scale, but like on smaller scale things, that kind of stuff would be super helpful.
I wouldn't do that on a small scale.
Well, a big part of the conversation is like the digital twins, it's kind of a proven success story. So the concept is like, how come on a smaller scale doesn't it work? We're going to try to answer why it doesn't work on a small scale today. And when will it start working on a small scale? How long is it going to take for the technology to adapt so it gets cheaper for everybody so it's because right now it's too expensive.
It's not just cost. It's documentation. Like if I have a line break, I just want to go fix it. I don't want to tell the city in New York, hey, I need a permit. Let's go. They're going to do an inspection. They're going to tell me I got to change this and this and this too and attack me, right? I don't want to have that documentation.
Well, so let's
So-
write that one. I want
Well-
to write that one down right now. That the first problem that we see with the digital twins model as like a business approach, if you're going to try to scale it or develop something around it, is the documentation of the information that it's receiving. So I have that down as a
It's not
problem.
cost effective, right? You're already buying at a certain cap rate. How much would this cost?
Right now, to
Right. Well, the whole value proposition, like what value is it providing?
I believe it's an over time. Over time, it's kind of like it'll pay for itself with the maintenance issues from the building it's going to save, and also just like the regulations it can do with whether it's turning up the heat control and like piping, and just all that stuff. I think over
If there was like some tax difference or something that the city provided, if you have a digital twin, we'll reduce your taxes by 33% or whatever the case may be, then I could see that making sense.
Right now, I believe it only makes sense on a bigger scale. So we know for right now, let's assume right now that this makes sense on a bigger scale, and it's saving them money over time. In a 10-year window, it's going to eventually save them money.
It's not just saving them money. It's helping them allocate money, because with an HOA, you're just putting in reserves, and you don't know necessarily how much reserves you need to be putting in. This would be perfect product on a new building, 70 to 100 units, where you know exactly how much you need to be putting in, and you know exactly what potentially could go wrong.
Forecasting, and I mean, this comes with like the more data you can get over time over buildings, the better it's going to be.
Because right now we're just putting as much as we can in the reserves just to be safe. But that's not necessarily good for us because we're paying a shit ton in HOA.
Do you run the HOA?
I'm on the board, but like especially new buildings, right? You never know what's going to happen. You got to build up the reserves.
So
put an arbitrary number
right
in
now,
there.
as being in the real estate industry, you're looking at this like you're going to need. This is a software play. You think this is a software play first. So you're going to need a software company to come to you, provide this service for you. You as the real estate developer, you're going to stay away from this today because it's just not only not feasible, but it's complex.
There's a company that does this already for a refinery. They trace every line and every piece of equipment inside of a refinery. They trace every flange, valve, connector within the refinery. They upload it into this three-dimensional model. They tag every single one. They have employees manually monitor each valve, and it ties right back to the system, right? It's phenomenal software. It helps you locate and fix and understand your weaknesses within the refinery, but it's extremely costly. The maintenance is costly, the annual upkeep is costly, and the fines don't necessarily justify the cost. Someone like me, I would love this, right? I would love to have this because you're sitting in front of a computer identifying inefficiencies in your building, places that are not, ineffective as far as cost, making changes where you need to make changes, not necessarily when there's problems.
Right, preventative.
Yeah, preventative. But at the same time, there's too much downside.
I think the downside right now, like I said, is cost, right? Here's the concept. Right now, this
cost and documentation.
Okay, so the cost of this will come with the sensors, putting all the sensors in the building, and then.
Wouldn't time be the biggest downside?
You gain time over time.
But how? So if you're putting sensors in to pretty much, give you data on how long this structure, or just to monitor this structure, I mean that's time, isn't it?
That is one implementation of a digital twin. You have to understand it. Like there's many things that it can do that's besides the HVAC, the heating unit. It's not just that problem it's solving. It solves a problem when it's like, you just have this brand new property that's built and you want to show somebody the building. You can have a virtual property tour, right? So now...
Yeah, but think about what if you want to sell it?
Then it's more expensive. You tell them, hey, we have a digital twin. Like it's...
No.
Think of like an NFT.
No, like they're going to say, oh, your foundation is weak or your plumbing is you got to be replaced, or you know what I mean. Like most people are, getting into something and they're going to negotiate based on the inspection. But the inspection's an individual that goes in and, he does as much as he can do.
Yeah, but
Right. I mean, I think there's different use cases for this scenario. Like real estate's a hard asset. So no matter how digital it gets, you're ultimately buying a hard asset.
correct.
So like from a sales perspective, they're going to hit, like they're going to beat you up however they can beat you up. So like, I don't know how much digital footprint would help.
In one of my buildings, I have a violation from 2008 where we fixed the sewage line in an apartment without a permit. They found out somehow, or I don't know if somebody had reported it. This is way back before I owned it. And now we have to go back and we have to file a permit. We have to pay $1,000 fine, and nothing is actually being done. But because it wasn't done right in 2008, they held it against us. They made us pay a significant fine, and we have to pay for the permit and the processing and the paperwork for the city. This would be a terrible thing to have in the city of New York as far as like a landlord, because everything is documented. They would see everything.
It'd be too exposed.
Yeah.
It'd be so exposed. And then everything that's ever happened and fixed will go back and get you and fine you and make you submit permits for.
Okay, but if
Yeah,
you
I mean,
have,
I guess
if you have
what are we
1,000
discussing here? Are we
buildings, if you
discussing
have,
like launching a software company or
no.
like,
Here's the thing.
what's our goal?
This is
That's what it
what's
would
hard.
be.
This is what's hard about this, right? Is you have to. I understood coming into this that this wouldn't be applicable for anybody on the call, but everybody in here is in real estate and they understand that, like the industry itself. So I'm not saying that you today will use this software for your benefit, because right now, like we said, the cost is too much and it's just not, the tech isn't there yet where it's cheap enough for you guys to consume it. But if you had 500 buildings,
the cost is too much. We don't know. We don't know if the cost is too much.
It
but
raises
for an HOA board. For an HOA board, it would be ideal right now. For especially like a condominium building, are paying monthly towards reserves, towards maintenance, etc. Common charges. This would be phenomenal if you can implement this for, I don't know, 50,000.
No, it's nowhere near that number.
Management companies could use it.
It's nowhere near that number.
Huh?
Right now, if you're doing a new build, and let's say you have like a $10 million project, you got to assume that your digital twin will cost you either $500,000 to $1 million to get it exactly right. Now, when you're doing real estate and you're cutting costs and you try to maximize every dollar, adding $1 million to your budget.
Where do you get that number from?
I asked ChatGPT. We asked the beta bot. It's high. It's a very high number right now. So that's the whole point of saying
10% of your cost for a digital twin.
I think between 5 and 10% of the, because you have to understand, you're at this point, if you're doing this, you need the software.
I think it's fair to say we don't know what the cost is, and it depends on the size of the project, 100%.
All right, hang on.
Well, I mean, is there like a tried and true method for building out a real estate digital footprint, or are we just talking hypothetical?
Well, I don't see how it would be difficult, to be honest with you, because all of the blueprints are there, and then the renderings are there, and the materials lists are there, the utility lines are there, right? All of that stuff is within the drawings from an architect.
If I'm building a $10 million real estate project, how much would it cost to build a digital twin for that building, roughly?
The cost to build a digital twin for a $10 million real estate project can vary widely, depending on the complexity, detail, and purpose of the digital twin. On average, it can range from $100,000 to $1 million, factoring in 3D modeling, sensor integration, software development, and ongoing data management. If you're looking for a high-end, real-time interactive model with detailed analytics, it could lean toward the higher end of that range. A simpler model without as much real-time data could be more affordable.
So the concept right now, what we're doing,
Babe, that's not accurate, because
don't you question beta?
We're not going to be developing, like the company that did the refineries. They have the software already built. They spent the money in the. We're not going to build a startup from scratch and then start using it for our building. Somebody would have already developed the software and the CAD modeling and all that stuff, and then we would just buy a subscription towards that. They would just reuse the same software over and over again. So a lot of that cost isn't going to be on us.
No, it's trust me, man. When you think of the complexity of how to it's not cuss. When you think of the complexity of how to build something like this, when it kind of just broke it down, like today's technology, it's costly. It's not a new. It's not a thing that you're going to go to.
That beta bot's answer was like, hey, you're going to build the software. You're going to design the 3D modeling and all that stuff. All that stuff's going to be already done.
If so, then it's $100,000 if you do it that way.
That's not bad.
It's not that bad, but then you're mind you, right now this was a hypothetical that it gave us an answer between 100,000 and in the millions, in the $1 million range for a digital twin. You know, I would take it as either in the middle. We can go the low end and just, you know, kind of play games. But I trust BetaBot. Doesn't steer me wrong. But anyways, the whole concept of this discussion right now is to say that what can we do in the real estate field with the digital twin, whether that's start a software company, whether that's get the sensors and go pitch it to other companies, say, hey, we have these sensors, we're gonna go put them in your building that'll monitor it. Hey, we want to build a 3D representation so you can do virtual tours that isn't just like the camera, what they do currently. It'll actually put the person at the building.
The sensors are already there. They already built those.
We are not inventing. I didn't invent the digital twin. I did not invent it for real estate. Everything that we're saying is already there. That's a given. We understand it's there.
I'm saying like all of those things are already being sold. Yes, they would sell more of them if people were implementing somebody's software that, you know, built a company that builds out digital twins. So from a business perspective, you can take many different angles. You could be the software company, right? You start a startup, you sell digital twins to people. You can be a company that sells the sensors currently in place, right? They use them for the water meters already. They use them for electrical. They use them for gas all the time. They're inside the valves. They're already there. You just start using those valves when you do the installation. You probably need more of them, so you sell more of them. Foundation, they already do it, right? They on my building, they're digging underneath the street, and they have these sensors that they attach to the buildings to make sure that there's no disturbance. They check the level of the building.
Is it a digital twin? Is it we're talking about getting all this technology and formulating into one, and that's what you'll get with the digital twin. That's the conversation. You know, is to try to find ways to implement this, like in the real estate field, like on different businesses. You know what? Because right now it's like you're not gonna, if you're building a new building, depending on the level of like developer you are, you're not gonna go and say, hey, I want to build a digital twin like right away. Maybe if you have 500 buildings, maybe it'll cross your mind.
It all comes down to value. Even if you're from the software company who builds out digital twins, you got to determine the value you're providing. Does it add value to the asset? That's the only way you're going to be able to sell it. So it's like you got to determine the value of the digital footprint.
I think from a ready-built condominium perspective, if the cost 1% to do this, I think it's a phenomenal idea.
How come more people
You know what is
doing
a likely scenario is it'll just get paid at closing, where you pay the lease term or the subscription for the software at transfer of ownership. So you're selling the property as well as you're selling the digital footprint, and the new buyer buys the digital footprint at closing. So it's a built-in cost
or an annual subscription.
Right, but like you can roll in the annual subscription at the closing table. I'm saying it's like a way to basically integrate it into the current system, because it'll just be considered quote unquote closing cost.
Oh yeah. Or
like title insurance.
HOA.
Yeah, something like that. Like the whole thing with real estate, it's like upon sale of a property, there's a lot of fees. A lot of people have their hand in that pot because it's a large transaction. It's like you just need to integrate into that system, so it gets paid. It runs with the property in some way.
Okay, let's ask a question. Do you think this will help innovate buildings? Will this technology innovate buildings?
I don't know if it's innovation. The software company itself is innovative, but
you don't think that learning
building is concerned.
You don't think that there's anything new to learn about how buildings are being made, that the software can tell you, hey, you guys are building it like this. If you did it like X, it'll be better.
I think every building is built based on where it's located and how much it costs. So if it costs me $1.5 million to build an all brick brand new home, it would probably be better to do siding. And depending on where you're at and what you're selling and what the market price is for that home, you have to use different material. What's best is not necessarily financially responsible.
So
if you're building in East Harlem, you're building for $400 or $500 a foot. If you're building in Midtown, you're building for $600-700 a foot.
Is that innovation? We're not talking about cost. We're talking about innovation. Can you innovate? Is it possible to use this for a future innovation of the home or the new building that you make? Can this give you information that you don't already have that can help you with a new build, with a futuristic build?
I mean, 100%, it's going to innovate. It's just you're eliminating human intervention. I mean, if you have sensors on your roofs, you're going to know at any point in time the age of your roof, the potential risks, and that goes with everything: siding, windows, whatever material. I mean, everything is going to be understood. It's all innovation.
How would it help you on the next project?
Using predictive analytics, it could help you either eliminate costs for the next build of what you need to do, what you need to either eliminate or get better.
All I see this doing is making you buy more expensive stuff. Like, hey, don't use these shingles, use these, which are probably going to be more expensive because we know that these are better. This is a better material.
Software isn't a salesman. You can tell your software, hey, I want to make this same building, but I want to cut the cost. Find me a new roof that will give me the same results, and it'll cut a cost. So if you want to cut costs, you can cut costs.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically that would work, but in like the actual implementation, it's different. I mean, I see what you're saying, Mo. I see both sides of it. Yes, it's innovating, but how would it improve the next time? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, like if you're buying on the east side of Kalamazoo and it's telling you, hey, this roof will last 10 more years, you know what I mean? We know that the roof will last 10 more years, but I'm trying to build a house for a reasonable cost because the market is dictating the terms.
Garza, do you see this innovating or making building projects easier?
It's not fair to say innovating.
I think we lost them.
It's not really, it's not really innovative, but I can see it at some point streamlining processes, budgets, logistics, and all that stuff throughout the development process.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point too.
And not just development, but maintaining as well. And I guess that kind of falls into the HOA shit.
Yeah, I think streamlining is a good way to say it. It could streamline the system, but at the end of the day, there's still someone swinging a hammer to build the house.
It definitely.
So that's why, Abe, that's why I was asking, like, okay, you're creating a digital twin, but what if you take it a step further and as you're creating that digital twin, you're creating the digital twins process as well?
I mean,
does that make sense?
I think you can do that. Like, there's a lot of, just like how you do cut and paste homes.
You can do it. You can do anything in the world. You can do whatever you want.
Right. So like,
actually, I think that's probably the best thing is using this to how to most efficiently build the building.
Right, and that'll come in the process of you having a lot of houses using this technology, having a digital twin, and it has about 10 years of data to work with.
I would say from my personal perspective as an apartment owner, it would be helpful if I had a digital twin of my apartments. So when shit happens, I know what was used in that particular apartment to get fixed. I see value there. And I've thought about that idea before, honestly, as a digital store, apartment specific, which yes, it's the same idea. You can input the data into a spreadsheet, but some type of software that you can link up directly to Home Depot, Lowe's, etc. You can store paint colors, flooring colors, tile, order shit directly through a software. That would add value to my life.
So it'll help improve operational efficiency, essentially.
Definitely. I mean, it's the same idea as a digital footprint. Yeah, my apartment exists in real life. All the materials that was built out to make it is stored digitally. So yeah, it'd be a digital footprint.
You document every pipe you buy. You document every valve you buy. Every piece of
right. It's a lot of data input.
Cement board. You would also have to make a lot of data input. You need a full-time administrative assistant.
So if you're a young person out there and you're looking into getting into like software and real estate, I think this is a good play for you. You could like I said, you could help improve the efficiency of the buildings and like the HVAC systems as well. So I think there's a lot of opportunity right now for you to innovate in this field. That's not so directly like if you guys are all in the real estate, actual brick and mortar. You guys are building buildings and stuff. So I think it's harder for you guys to see like a business, a valuable business, or maybe it's like less. I'm going to chop that out.
I think this gives people a lot of opportunity to get into something that would help them, from Garza's perspective, streamline a process that would seem, really difficult to get started in. But like, these companies, like look at the Chase building in down Midtown that they're building. It's $3 billion, crazy innovative technology. It's absolutely, they're making a documentary about it. That's how serious this construction project was. If you can pull it up, that'd be pretty cool. But like,
what is it?
If you had no experience and this is something you were interested in doing, a 6-unit, 8-unit construction project, this would tell you exactly what to do, and it would take everybody's experiences over the last 100 years and tell you this is the process to do it. Do this first, then do this, and you can find all the trades, and you can go step by step, make things very easy on yourself. It would tell you everything you didn't know. You just gotta have the dream and the money.
And do you guys see the value in the AI aspect of this as well with the digital twin? Like, can you see an AI model being built or being utilized as now? I have a property manager who's an AI he handles everything about the property. The digital twin allowed you to create an AI basically property manager.
I think right now this software, if developed, would be extremely beneficial to a lot of condominium and co-op buildings right now. I think from a construction standpoint, it doesn't make sense because you're adding cost. A system that's been in place for a very long time.
How much do you pay a property manager to run 4 or 5 apartment complexes? Okay, over a 5-year span, if you could eliminate that by half by having like a assistant property manager, but you had an AI, I think over time.
You can't. You have to have someone. So like we pay $55,000-$60,000 a year, right, for a company that manages our building. They manage the employees. They manage any changes that the board needs. They manage the servicing companies that come to the building, right? They take care of all of these things that we would never do. Even having this, they would have to manage this as well. The only thing that this would provide, that's different is preventative maintenance, financial forecasting, really, which is huge. I'm not trying to discount that. That's huge because we could potentially save less money. I could pay less money in the HOA. Be like, hey, look, based on our digital twin, we don't need to be putting as much in reserves. Therefore, everybody's HOA could get cut $200 a month, or vice versa. It could be like, look, the longevity of this is going to be 5 years, not 10 years. We should probably start raising HOA money and increasing reserves so that when it does come, nobody gets hit with a big.
But would it be fair to say that having a digital twin raises the property value of your building?
It would depend 100%. What's the property used for?
Well, if someone's gonna go buy a building and there's a digital twin and they can see all the metrics, and it's this is supposed to also save you with energy consumption.
I don't think it necessarily raises the value of the building, but in terms of purchase and selling of hard assets or bigger assets like office buildings, commercial retail, all those types of things, it would definitely streamline. I'm using streamline again. It would definitely streamline the purchasing process if you have a digital twin, because you can go in there and easily analyze everything that's going on, the ins and outs.
So the efficiency of the build will become better. Will basically help increase the value.
And you probably eliminate jobs. You probably eliminate inspectors, appraisals, or things like that would take into account deficiencies in the building. Like everything.
Hey,
you have.
If you're not eliminating jobs, you're not innovating.
Yeah, that's true.
So risk reduction.
Hey, make sure to write that down.
I took that in my notebook.
Just rewatch the stream, Garza.
Yeah, everyone does.
That's a clip, bro. That's a clip.
I just trademarked it.
You don't
you're
think
gonna see shorts with that clip on there. You're gonna see Abe's Twitter is gonna be.
You mentioned like the fines with the buildings and building in New York is there's so many fees and XYZ when they try to come and get you. You don't think having the digital twin can help you stay on top of everything so you'll never have a fine again? Essentially, that's the concept if done properly.
No. Because let me tell you my experience with an inspector. He came to the building to identify things that I fixed. And on the documentation and in the paperwork I submitted, he can only look at things that I fixed. When he came to the building, he saw some things that he took notes on. And I asked him, I said, hey, what can I work on to make sure that, I cover my tracks and I can start working on things that you've identified. He said, oh, we're not allowed to tell you. Now, I thought the inspector was supposed to be working with the landlord so that we can get things inspected. But no, it's more like a gotcha. situation so he can go report back, so that the city can get me on fines, and so that they can document this stuff, and I have to pay for another inspector to come back and fix it, right? That's what my experience has been with them. So me having all of this documentation and potential issues that come up, you're not going to be able to get around the process. If having a digital twin and the city would give you leeway, be like, oh, if you have this, then anything that comes up, we will not charge you for the permits that you need to pull. We'll streamline the process for you, make it quicker for you to get things done, right? Not slow you down and put a stop work order on your building and fine you thousands of dollars.
What if you just send them the digital twin? Say everything is good to go. Here, look at my digital twin. Look, pipes, all that, everything's good.
Yeah, but what if things come up? What if things come up?
You'll get a notification from your digital twin say, hey, this is coming up. I don't think it'll save them money by sending somebody out and getting on.
Like, look. For instance, I have a guy with a leaky toilet, right? And I gotta change the toilet out. They want you to go get a permit from the city to go do it. No, I'll just go change the toilet. I don't want to pay anything. I don't want to tell anybody. I don't want to report it. So now with this, it's documented that I did this. I did plumbing. I didn't go to the city. I didn't tell them I did plumbing.
Right.
Oh, did you get a permit? Did you get a tenant protection plan? Did you get all this? No, the tenant wants to change. I changed it. We moved on. And in 10 years from now, nobody's going to know that I did that. You know what I mean? With this, it's showing that I did that. And then they're going to be like, oh, you didn't do this. You didn't follow the right procedure, blah, 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 blah.
You know, I just realized I spelled twins wrong and nobody corrected me. Everybody got the dockets. Nobody told me you spelled twins wrong.
No. I saw that and I was just like, you guys, be something weird that Abe's doing. No, I don't know.
I'm just gonna say that's how it is. Somebody, come on, you guys.
Is that what the software company is gonna be called?
Gonna have to edit that out. Yeah, that's the software company. E's for
digital twins.
So right now, the key players in the digital space industry that startups can learn from would be Siemens, GE, IBM, Microsoft. These are the top companies right now that if you're trying to do a startup in the digital twin field, look into those companies, see what they're doing, see how they're innovating, and see if you can add on to what they're doing on a smaller scale.
Just FYI, from your video, I would never put a chip in my body.
Where is the chip? Oh,
the medical.
That was for the medical aspect of it. We tried to get Dr. Mind Eye, but he's booked saving patients.
I love the idea. I wish I could use it. I wish that this is something, because I'm very OCD about this stuff. But the problem is the documentation, man. It keeps digital records. They know too much.
But you saying this in today's scale, understandable. But if you're more like a manufacturer or you're more like on a bigger scale, I think the documentation in the long run saves you money because you can keep track of the books to the T. I understand where you're coming from, though. It's a very realistic approach.
It depends on the asset. It depends on the buyer, and it depends on the seller. Like Mo's saying right now, you don't want to fuck with the city all the time. You got to fix the toilet. You got to do this. You're just gonna have more shit. But if you're developing industrial things where they need to be a certain way for safety procedures, etc., and the buyer finds value in that, then yeah, it would make sense in that case. It all depends on per property and per use case.
Yeah, cause I use some examples that would be perfect. Like I think this is a phenomenal play for an HOA in a co-op building, and they have those everywhere. I mean, a majority of housing is condominiums and co-ops and apartment buildings.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be a good idea. All right, I got to drop. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, so thanks for coming on again.
Good discussion. All right,
so for startup ideas, you could do a small apartment complex software that can help the apartments monitor all the things that digital twin and I think can do. And I think that on a small aspect for a startup, you can do that. Virtual property tours, you can start a startup with that one as well. And then you can have a predictive maintenance company as well. So you can have a maintenance company, but now it's a predictive maintenance company that goes and attaches sensors on all your little, things that you need, and then it could help that way.
If you develop something like that and you sold it to maintenance companies, they would buy it and put it in their offering plan.
Right.
That's how you set yourself apart, right? Because we interviewed like 4 or 5 maintenance companies, and all of them, had to pitch their ideas, and and a lot of it was pretty similar. It's pretty much based on how they are, but this would be a differentiator for a lot of those maintenance companies currently. Like, hey, we use this software, we preventative maintenance, we give you better financial forecasting, blah, blah, blah. This would be phenomenal for them.
Yeah, we got a young audience, so you know, like we like to give them ideas, and you know, we like to keep the youth involved in what's going on. You know, hopefully they listen and they go implement
here's some
something.
advice: early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Knew that was coming. All right. Thanks for that one. All right, so let me see here. I think that was good for the digital twins section. Guys, I appreciate you coming on too.
All good, brother.
You're gonna. Let me see. I'm gonna start the next section. I'm gonna play some music before I start because I gotta freshen up. You know, I gotta like need a quick breather.
What's the next section?
I forgot. I have to look. Next section.
All right, I'm gonna hop on the sticks.
All right, I'll be on after.
All right, buddy. Good luck.
All right, just me right now. We're gonna play music. I'm gonna take a quick break, and I'm gonna come back in a second.